Selamat malam semua teman-teman dimanapun Anda berada, juga teman-teman yang baru bergabung, terutama mereka yang di kelas free batch kita. Malam ini bersama saya, Kunardi Halim, founders dari Happy Billionaires, dan juga analis kita, Mr. Jason Mariposa. Beliau hari ini akan memberikan update tentang apa yang akan terjadi sesuai dengan data-data terakhir, apa yang akan terjadi 2-3 bulan mendatang. Ya. Kita akan dengarkan analisa beliau dan juga nanti di akhir sesi ada sesi tanya jawab. Okay? Jason, the time is yours.
Okay, hi guys. Nice to see you guys again. So the past few presentations, I've been focusing on the very big picture. Okay, so what's gonna happen in the next 1 year, what's gonna happen in the next 2 years. So I think that today we're gonna focus on the short term. Okay, what's gonna happen in the next few months. Okay. And of course, I'm also gonna talk about some fundamental developments that I see in the market. Okay, so I think that for now, all the negatives are priced in. Okay, so like if you look at globally, all the news has been very terrible. Okay, but I think the market did not react. Okay, what do I mean? Like for example, I mean if you look at the U.S. market, unemployment rate is very high, right? In the past 4 weeks, you saw 22 million get unemployed, but the market didn't go down, right?
Yeah.
Or you saw everyone anticipating second quarter GDP is going to be down 25, 30, 40%. Okay, right? You saw the estimates also in Asia Pacific. Down, everyone almost is going to get a recession. Okay, but the market didn't go down. Okay, so what does that means? That is, you have to respect what the market is signaling to us. Okay, that means that okay, everybody knows there's going to be a recession already. Okay, everybody knows that coronavirus is in the millions already. Okay, everybody knows that maybe GDP is going to be down like 5% in the next quarter. Okay, so I think that for now, all the economic impact is widely known already. I think people have overanalyzed it already. Okay, so I think that now people are aware of the impact and the exponential rise in the number. It's nothing new anymore. Okay, and I think that's why you're seeing the market is already bouncing. Okay, at least for now, it stopped going down. Okay, and actually, US has went up 30% in the past month, right? And Indonesia, I think it's bounced somewhere at 20%. Okay, so I think the market is asking, what's next? Okay, so what's next? Okay, so I think that people are anticipating that this number is going to peak soon. Okay, so people are anticipating that this number is going to peak soon. Okay, what's the first indication that that's peaking? Is you look at the daily new cases. Okay, so this is the daily increase. Okay, so as you can see, it's starting to flatten out. Okay, so that means that the rate of growth is slowing down. Okay, so maybe before it's very, very high rate of growth, but now it's slowing down a bit. Okay, and then it's going to flatten out and it's going to go down. Okay, I think we're still in the very early phases of it flattening out. So, okay, so this is called, the curve is starting to flatten out. So that's your first sign that maybe the virus has hit the peak already. Okay, so if you look at this data, so this is daily new cases. Okay, so it means that this is the number of people getting sick every day. Additional. Okay, so before in the US, maybe 1,000 people a day get sick. Then it's 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 a day. So that means that it's accelerating, right? But today it's flattening out. Okay, so like yesterday, maybe 11,000 got sick. Today, 11,000 again. Maybe tomorrow it's like 10,000. So yes, it's still increasing, but the rate of growth is slowing down. Okay, so the reason that's important is that at least you're gonna get a timeline when this thing is gonna go down, right? And if you understand when, if it's already peaked, then I guess you can imagine when the economy is gonna start to reopen. Okay, so this is Indonesia. So this is daily new cases. I think it's still going up, right? That means that the rate of infection is still accelerating. Okay, but of course, I think with the lack of testing, like also in the Philippines, you don't know what the real number is. Okay, this is just the number that they got out of the air. Okay, so I don't. It's really hard to rely on this if you have very poor testing. Okay, so this is the number of deaths, daily confirmed deaths. Okay, so I think in most of European countries it's also going down already, but in the US it's still going up. Okay, so this Indonesia. Again, I think this is very controlled, uh, doctored numbers, to be honest. Because, like, as I said before, the testing is very low. Okay, the testing is very low. Okay, so I don't know what the real number is. Okay, but if you ask, I think uh, I did some simulations in a few weeks ago, right, about how the number would increase if you do nothing. Okay, and I think that showed that the peak is gonna come in Indonesia maybe around June if you do nothing. Okay, so I think that this is a different kind of problem in Indonesia and the Philippines because you really have very low testing. You don't know how many people are sick. You don't know if the lockdown is working. So I think that's not very inspiring. Like for example, in the Philippines, if they end the lockdown tomorrow, I'm still not gonna go out. Okay, because I don't even know if it's increasing or not.
Yeah.
Right. So it's hard. Like I have a baby. My wife is also pregnant. Okay, so it's very hard. Okay, so but if we look at Europe and US, they're already talking about opening up. They're already planning it. Okay, like this is Trump, right? People are rallying. They want to end the lockdown. Okay, so this is Germany. So they want to reopen the schools already. And they're planning it. Okay, but it's a very slow reopening. Okay, so like if you look at this on the right, Germany is still gonna ban restaurants, bars, cafes, cinemas until August 31. Okay, so yes, everything's gonna start opening up, but there's still not gonna be large people gathering. It's not allowed. Okay, because this is really a long battle. Okay, so even if you see the number of cases peak already, right? If you relax, that number is gonna explode again. Okay, so like the peak may be peaking, number of infections, maybe it's going down, but if you relax, that's gonna explode again. Okay, so this is really a long battle. Okay, and I think it's gonna be end if you have the vaccine, which I don't think we have it yet. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's say that your lockdown is successful. Okay, you stop the rate of infection is going down anymore. But if you relax, it's gonna go up again. Okay, then you're gonna have lockdown again. Okay, then it's gonna go up again. So it's very hard to relax until you have the vaccine. Okay, so that's why I think that it's gonna be a long battle. Okay, that even if we see the peak, it's hard to relax, right? So, like for example, if you look at Singapore, right? They've been successful at the beginning, right? Look at that. They flattened the curve, right? You think they're okay? Oh wait, look what happened. Okay, so I think that this is far from a simple journey. So it's gonna have lots of up and down. Okay, I think right now Singapore has more cases than Japan and Indonesia and Philippines.
Indonesia, yeah.
Believe it or not. Okay. Okay, so if you look at the what's the fuel for this rally? Like, why did the market rally so hard, especially in the US? It's of course thanks to the Fed, right? I've been telling you guys that stock market's all about liquidity, right? It's all about the amount of money in the system. Okay, they printed I think more than $2 trillion. So this is literally, guys, money printing. If you watch the Netflix episode series Money Heist, right? You guys remember season one? They were printing money, right? 24/7. So I think that's what the Fed has been doing to support the market. Okay, well, it's not just the Fed. I think it's almost all central banks, right? So even Indonesia has been changing the rules a bit so that they can also do this money printing, right? Because the news a few weeks ago was that uh, the government was going to issue bonds to spend on the fiscal spending, right? Then Bank Indonesia was going to buy the bonds. Okay, so that's the same as what's happening in the US. Okay, so if you look at this, the money printing of the Fed increased by 25% in the past month. The US market went up 24% by the same amount. Okay, so what else they did was that they expanded their asset purchase program, meaning they're going to buy assets, right? Before they only bought government bonds, but now they're going to buy corporate bonds. They're going to buy municipal bonds. They're going to buy mortgage bonds. Okay, and what they say is that if US stocks go down again, the Fed's going to buy stocks. Okay. Okay, so I think that what's in the big picture, what's concerning about this is that all the money is going to the stock market or the bond market. Okay, it's not really going to the real economy where the money is needed, right? Where 22 million people just lost their jobs. Okay, but most of the money is going to the stock market. It's not really helping the real economy. Okay, so I think that the fundamentals is going to continue to go bad in the US. Okay, so I think this is one example. The relief to small businesses already ran out. Okay, it's already out, but I think they're going to try to fix it. Okay, but you see trillions of dollars going to the stock and bond market. Okay, so that's why I think what that has done in the past 10 years is that the rich people have gotten very rich. Okay, but the poor people here, they did not benefit from all the policies of the Fed. Okay, okay, because all of the money went to the capital markets, stocks, bonds, treasuries. They didn't go to the real economy. Okay, that's why I think that today the U.S. economy is very, very fragile. Right? Because yes, okay, you have a strong stock market, but the real economy is very, very weak. Okay. Okay, so this is what happened in the past month. Okay, so as you can see, okay, we're still down. Almost everything is still down year to date. Like for example, Indonesia here is down 26% year to date. Like
Yes.
Philippines is here down 26% also year to date. But in the past month, we've been seeing a rally. Okay. Okay. So I think that as been talking, I think in the big picture, we're still in a downtrend. Okay. But just having this small rally. Okay. I think it's way too early to say if we're at the bottom or not. I don't know. Okay. I can't answer that part, but I can answer that it's cheap, all right. I think it's everything is very cheap.
Mm.
Okay, so if you look at the U.S. market, I think those people who know a little bit about charts will appreciate this. Okay, so I think that U.S. market is very close to the resistance level already. Okay, so if you look at this is the 200-day moving average. This is the 50-day moving average. So I think that we have it's called death cross here, right? So that means that the long-term trend is going down. Okay. Okay, and if you look at what's been going up in the US, actually this is just the tech stocks. Okay. So I think that you have maybe 5 or 6 stocks in the US that's making the market go up. Those are your Apple, your Amazon, Netflix, right? But actually if you remove those tech stocks, US market is actually quite weak. Okay. So this is the tech stocks. So this is the market, the entire market. It's down 14% for the year. Okay. If you remove the tech stocks, look at this. The small caps, the Russell 2000 small caps, and the financial sector is down 30% year to date. Okay, so actually that shows you that something's really wrong with the economy, right? Because small companies, financials, they're really the most sensitive to the economy. Okay, so it's just that you have a few very big stocks like Apple, Microsoft, Google, that have been keeping the market up there strong. Okay, so from a global perspective, this is year to date. So this is the US market, down 11%. This is emerging markets, down 18%. Oh, this is Philippines. I forgot to change this, but it's the same, right? Because Philippines and Indonesia is 26% down for the year. Okay, so I think it's clear that emerging markets are weaker. Okay, so I think that there's multiple reasons for this. Okay, so one, I think that the currencies are much weaker, right? So I think rupiah depreciated 10%, right?
Yeah.
So and then second, I think that poor response to the virus, of course, except China. And lastly, less policy credibility. What do I mean by that? Okay, US can print all the money they want. Well, not really, but they can print a lot of money without the currency exploding. Okay, but if Indonesia prints so much money, you're gonna get hyperinflation. You're gonna get the currency is gonna go down maybe 50%. Right? Because all the foreigners are gonna go out. Okay, they're gonna get scared. Okay, so that means that you have, based on the perception of foreigners, your policy. If you do extreme policies, we don't like it. You don't have much credibility with us. Okay, like for example, the U.S. fiscal deficit, they're spending so much money. It's like 10% of GDP. Okay, But Indonesia, I think now it's just 5, right?
Yeah.
Philippines, same. If they go to 10% of GDP, you're gonna see a huge sell-off in the bond market.
Mm.
Okay, because foreigners are gonna get out. Okay, because what they're gonna say is, what are you doing, right? Okay, so another thing that's I've been looking at is that oil. Okay, now as I'm looking at it, oil is down 37% for today, just
Mm.
today. What is happening? Okay, can you see this? Sorry, can you see this, guys?
Yeah.
Look at that. Just 2 days ago, it was 20. Today, it's 11. Oh, God.
50% almost.
50% down in 2 days. Okay. So year to
Mm.
date, it's already down 75 to 80%. That's that's incredible.
Mm.
Okay, and actually very scary. Okay. I just can't imagine how many countries, how many companies are gonna go bankrupt with this.
Mm.
Okay, because last year it was 60, 70, now it's 10. Okay, so actually
Crazy.
the decline of oil is worse than 2008.
Yeah. Crazy.
Okay, so I think this is crazy. Next thing, maybe it's gonna be free. Okay, but I think it makes sense. Like for example, my car has been. I last filled up my tank 2 months ago. Now it's still 80% full. Right? Nobody's using oil anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually it's a very scary time for a lot of people, right? Because everything's I think it's collapsing. Okay, so for emerging markets, I think this is very important also. So this is dollar index. Okay, so it had a huge move. Okay, and the Fed helped in weakening it. But if you ask me, I think this is going up again. I think it's just pausing. Okay, and I think that if this really starts to go up, emerging markets are going to get destabilized again. Okay, going to Indonesia. Okay, so I think the chart wise, this is definitely pointing down, right? If you look at the major moving averages, they're pointing down. Okay, so I think that in the big picture, we're just having an oversold bounce, right? So I don't know how long it's going to take, maybe a few months. Okay, so I think that for investors, of course, since we're in a big picture downtrend, you don't want to be buying here, right?
Mm.
You want to be buying when it's going down here, 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 here. Okay, so you want to buy on weakness, not on strength. Okay, because the big picture, I think it's still pointing down. Okay, so this for me is the resistance levels are right here. Okay, so if you look at the what I call breadth indicators, so this is the percentage of stocks making new 52-week lows.
Mm.
Okay, so I think that a lot of stocks are still going down, right? So another indicator here is the percent of stocks above 200-day. So above 200-day moving average, this is 10% right now. So that tells me that a lot of stocks are weak.
Mm.
Okay, so I updated this chart for you guys. It's the percent of the distance of the stocks from their 52-week high.
Mm.
So of course, as you can see here, uh, everything is down huge. Okay, you only have a few stocks here that are 10-20% from their 52-week high. Okay, so of course you have VBCA. I think it's the best. It's the biggest and the best bank in the market. If you ask me. And to be honest, I think it's one of the best banks in the world. I mean, in terms of profitability
Mm.
and just how well the business is built. Okay. So tower, of course, this is cell towers, right?
Yeah.
Do we use more internet or not?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, right? So I think
Everybody work
that's
from
why
home.
these guys did not go down a lot, right? It's tower. Also, we have TBIG, right? Same
CPP.
tower
People
business, right?
people eat Indomie.
Right. Of course, you have Indofood, ICBP. I think they're benefiting,
Yeah.
right? Although, of course, a lot of stores are closed, but I think they're definitely going to be okay. Okay, like for example, uh, me, I bought like 2 boxes of noodles just for emergency, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so of course the weakest here are of course your uh, the companies that are more cyclical. What do you mean? Means that of course they're affected by the shutdowns a lot more. Okay,
Mm.
so of course you have your construction, everything stopped, right? You have PGAS, like the people are using less energy, right? You have some banks here. You have coal. Okay, you have property, right? I don't think people are gonna buy property. I don't think people are gonna buy cars, right? So and I don't think people are gonna buy new clothes, right?
Mm.
So I think that all of those discretionary spending stocks are gonna go down. Okay? I think staples are gonna benefit, of course. Okay, so this is the rupiah, right? So it depreciated a lot. I think right now it's going sideways, right? That's why I think you saw uh, the market stop going down as well. So I think
Mm.
this what this means is that maybe for now the selling is over. The selling has
Mm.
paused, right? Okay, but what I see that's important is that if you look at the 10-year bond of the government, it went up 30%. Okay,
Mm.
what's this? Okay, uh, it's the rate that the government can borrow for 10 years.
Mm.
So meaning to say the government wants to issue bonds, it wants to borrow money from the market. It's gonna have to be at 8% interest rate.
Mm.
Okay, so if this thing goes up, it means that the cost of borrowing of the government went up 30%.
Mm.
Okay, so this is of course going to influence the whole borrowing cost of the whole economy. Okay,
Mm.
so what this means is that there's tight liquidity in the market. Tight liquidity, meaning there's not a lot of money going into Indonesia. Okay, because I think that most of the money is going out. So if you look at foreign flows, actually $7 billion went out of the
Mm.
Indonesia year to date. Okay, so what this means is that yes, Bank Indonesia has been lowering rates, but it hasn't been increasing liquidity because money is going out. Okay,
Mm.
or because everything is stopped already. Okay, so the
Mm.
money is not circulating around the economy.
Mm.
Okay, so what this means is that okay, your cost of capital has gone up. Okay, it's because yeah, business has been disrupted. Capital is leaving the Indonesian market. Okay, so I think that the Bank Indonesia has to do a lot more to improve the liquidity situation in the market. Okay? Or foreigners have to go back inside. I don't know when that's gonna come. Okay, but what this will do, of course, is it will not help the economy. And two, I think that uh, valuations of stocks will go down,
Mm.
right? Right, because like if this is at 5%, maybe you're gonna think about putting money in the stock market. But if it goes up to 8%, I'm pretty sure like you're gonna put less money in the stock market, right?
Mm.
Okay. Okay. And I think this also reflects the uncertainty, right? Because the picture is really very, very uncertain. And when there's high uncertainty, of course, as investors, you have to pay me more, right?
Mm.
Like for example, before I'm content with 5%, but if I see more risk in the country, I want to be paid more, right?
Mm.
Okay, so that's why I think that I'm still working on it, but I think we have to reduce the fair value for our target prices by around the same quantity as well, if not more, right? So I'm still working on that. Okay, so this is the valuations of Indonesia. Okay, actually it's quite cheap already. So if you look at this, it's at 11 times PE. So the average is 14. Okay, but in 2008 went to as low as 6. Okay, so I have no idea if it's going to reach that level. Okay, I think this is already very cheap. Okay, so yes, right now you have a liquidity problem, and if that liquidity problem doesn't go away, this P is not going to go up as well.
Mm.
Okay, but I think that liquidity problem is temporary. Okay, it's going to go away. I don't know when, but I think it's just going to improve. Okay, so that's why I think that today, if you're an investor, it's a great entry point. Okay, because things are cheap, everything's going down. Okay, so don't tell me you want to be buying when things are going up, right?
Mm.
You want to be buying when everyone is bearish, when everyone is selling. Okay, look at this. Okay, you don't see this every day. I think you see this once every 10 years. Okay,
Mm.
so yes, there's a lot of negative out there, but without that negative, stocks will never go down, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay. I think in terms of earnings, if you look at this, I got this from Bloomberg. So this is the estimate EPS for this year. So it's still a 14% growth rate. Okay. I think what's happening here is that all the analysts are waiting for the first quarter earnings to come out,
Mm.
right, before they adjust their targets. Okay, but of course the market already went down a lot, so that's already it, right? That's already people adjusting their expectations for going forward. Okay, so uh, tell me if this is correct or not. Are people following?
Not really.
Okay, so I think it's I think in Manila, people. It's been a better situation. We've been on lockdown for the past 37 days, but there's a lot of loopholes as well, especially with the masses, right? It's very
Mm.
hard to tell them to stay home, don't come out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I don't know. And I think the government's not doing enough really.
Mm.
Okay. Uh, so this is some good news. Right? So recently the government issued some 4 billion of bonds, the global markets, pandemic bonds. And I think a lot of people bought it. So there
Mm.
were bids worth 10 billion.
Mm.
So that's a good sign, right? That there is a lot of appetite out there. There's a lot of foreigners that are interested in buying these bonds. So I think that the government has to do this a lot more, right, to
Mm.
help the blow of the virus to the economy. Okay, so I think this is just a survey, okay, that shows that okay, if you do quarantine, yes, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a while, but the economy can bounce back quicker. Okay, but if you avoid quarantine, I think most people think that this is a survey by economists that it can be worse,
Mm.
right? And I think that you just have to think about it in terms of, like, for example, how confident are you gonna be if there's no real efforts by the government to stop this virus? How confident
Mm.
are you gonna be going out, right? And going on vacation in Bali or Bandung,
Mm.
right? When you know that you can get this virus anytime, right?
Yeah.
Or for example, if you're a business, you're gonna be scared to expand, right? Because you don't know, right? You might lose your money. What if
Mm.
suddenly the government wants to do lockdown?
Mm.
Or what if suddenly numbers explode because of no quarantine? Then the government changes its mind, right? So it becomes very unpredictable for you as business.
Mm.
Okay, so I think that, yeah, even if we see the peak of the infections, I think that the time before we get to normal is going to be a while, maybe until we get a vaccine, right?
Mm.
Because, like, for example, if you look at the Singapore, what I showed earlier, even if they were successful initially in controlling the number of infections, one mistake, right? And you see a huge spike in the number of infections.
Mm.
Okay, so I think that big picture, this in the past month, I think it's just a bear market rally.
Mm.
Okay, okay, and yeah, okay, we may have seen the worst already, maybe in the next quarter. But what they say is that the recovery is likely to be painfully slow. Okay, and not conducive to much of a rebound in corporate profits. Okay, so we're gonna find out, right?
Mm.
Okay, so some more examples. Like if you find articles in China, in Wuhan, people are not still not going out, right?
Yeah.
Restaurants are still all empty.
Mm.
Okay, people are very scared of a relapse. Okay, and the authorities are very strict in social gatherings. Okay, so yeah, so what they say is that until there's a vaccine or herd immunity is when like 60-70% of the population have it. Okay, and the strong will survive, the weak will die. Okay,
Mm.
okay, so I think that going forward, what we're gonna be seeing is that, okay, maybe we've peaked already, but if you're not careful, there's gonna be another one.
Mm.
Okay, so I think the US, that's a major risk for US and European markets. Because as I said a while ago, they're already thinking of opening up. Okay, so yeah, this is what's happening. Okay, if you are very tough on the healthcare response, of course you're gonna have a deeper recession.
Mm.
Okay, and actually, ironically, of course, if you do nothing in terms of stopping the disease, it's gonna be faster to get back. Okay, so if you just let people die, do nothing, the economy is gonna go bounce back quicker, theoretically. But of course, you may say that's the proper way to go. I don't know, but what if your mom gets infected?
Mm.
Is it okay? What if your child gets infected? Right. So I don't know. I think that lives are more important. If you ask me.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so you guys I'm gonna send this to you guys so you just can view it. I think this is from a report I found of the exposure of different sectors, right? Winners and losers here. Okay, so I think that the big picture, I think that 2008 is not a good comparison for today, right? Because if you look at the market 2008, it was very fast, bounced back again very fast. Okay, so that's because there was no problem in Indonesia back then, in the Philippines. It was just a contagion, right? Meaning the US was collapsing, so the global markets also collapsed, right? So I think that today, a more similar scenario actually is the 1997 Asian financial crisis. Okay, so I'm not saying that we're gonna have a financial crisis in Indonesia. Okay, I think the banking system of Indonesia now versus 1997 is like night and day. Okay, now it's very, very healthy. Okay, if you look at the capital adequacy ratio of banks in Indonesia, very strong, 22, 24%, meaning they have a lot of capital to absorb losses. And if you look at the real estate industry, there's no bubble in the industry. Okay, so while this one took a lot, but what I'm saying is that it's similar because there's pain in the economy. Okay, so it's not just the contagion. Now I think that the real economy is going to be hit, like similar to what happened in 1997. That's why I think that after the big decline in the market, you're going to have a long something of a bottoming out right here. Okay, I think it's going to be a lot faster than 1997. Okay, hopefully within 1 to 2 years, I think it's going to go up already. Okay, so yeah, if you ask me in the very big picture, this is the perfect time to be buying stocks. Okay, so similar to 1997, you also saw a lot of huge rallies, right? So this is a 20% rally. This is a 68% rally. This is a 171% rally in the market. Okay, but of course it's still a bear market, so it's gonna take a while. Okay, so that's why I think that yeah, we're in a bear market. So guys, if you want to be investing, okay, you don't want to be buying when it's up 30-40%, right? You want to be buying when it's going down. Buy on weakness, okay? And if you want to trade, buy on weakness, sell on strength, right? Buy on weakness, somewhere here, sell on strength if you want to be trading. Okay, but if you're just on the investing side, just accumulate every time on weakness. Okay. Okay, so what I'm gonna do on the investment side is I'm reading up on everything, and I'm adjusting all of my fair values depending on what's happening in the company, and of course with the higher cost of capital, because interest rates are going up, so I have to adjust everything. Okay. Can you have the Q&A now?
Okay. Okay, thank you, Jason. Yeah, thank you, Jason, for your explanation. Let's see, there's a... Oke, teman-teman, tuh penjelasan dari Jason. Silakan jika ada pertanyaan, bisa diketik.
I guess just to wrap things up, I think that globally, you might see the peak of the infections already soon. Okay, so what's next? So the next thing that is going to be on the minds of people is, when do we get back to normal?
Yeah.
Okay, or are we going to see another huge increase in infections? Okay, I think there's still a lot of uncertainty, of course.
Yeah.
What sector will recover the fastest? Okay, so I think that the sector that will recover the fastest is, of course, those that have the least damage on their business and on their balance sheets. Okay. Okay, I think that the banks are going to be hit short term, but as I said, banks have very strong balance sheets, especially the big ones. So I think that they're gonna recover the fastest. Okay, that's why I like BBCA. I think that's the priority for now. That's my number one pick, actually. Okay, and of course, like for example, ICBP, they're not really gonna be hit, right? But I think that it also has a chance of going down. Why? Because if this thing really prolongs, like a lot of people lose their jobs, people are gonna cut their spending even on consumer staples, right? Because you have no choice, right? So maybe you buy 5 packs of noodles a week, but if things really get bad, you now buy 4, right?
Okay.
Okay, so I think that yeah, I think banks are good. Of course, you want to be also be in the defensive once the telco. Okay, if ever the TLKM goes down, you want to take advantage. Okay, but basically, of course, those that are really not very damaged in terms of a balance sheet perspective, okay, can recover the fastest. Okay, because of course, maybe if you're also the strongest, if all your competitors go bankrupt, you're gonna benefit, all right? Right? For investment, when can we start buy again? I think that this entire window is a buying point, right? Because as I said, everyone is selling. Okay, so you want to be taking advantage of that. Okay, but if you want to be more exact, as I said, uh, buy on weakness. Okay, that's when you would get aggressive in buying. Okay, but I think that now is the perfect time to buy. So if you look at Warren Buffett, he hasn't bought anything in the past 3 years. This year, he's starting to buy already.
Okay. Jason, there's a question. Is this for investment? Do we need to wait for bottom or start to buy? From Pak Nurus. Salam.
I don't know. For investor, where's that? Okay, I don't know when the bottom is. Okay, so as an investor, nobody knows that. Okay, what do you have to find out if it's cheap or expensive? Okay, and I think that now a lot of stocks are very cheap, so it's time to be buying.
Okay, time to buy.
Okay, from a trading, if you're a trader, when is the bottom? I also don't know. Yeah, I think it's way too early to tell that from a timing trading standpoint also. Okay, so I think that you have to clarify, be honest with yourself. Are you an investor or a trader? You have to clear that up. Otherwise, I would imagine it's going to be very hard to buy when things are going down. Okay. Okay, so from Prabowo Suharto, what am I going to do with PTP Mosquita? Okay, so I think that our current advice here is to hold for now. Okay, and I think that you have to continue to hold it. Don't do anything with it. Okay, I'm gonna update the investment side maybe on Thursday about our new strategy for that and the changes in the fair value targets. Okay, so I think that just hold it for now. You want to be buying the bigger stocks in this environment because they're going to be the first one to recover. Okay, so I think that construction is also going to recover, but it's going to take a lot longer than the bigger stocks. So I think that today the priority is the biggest, highest quality stocks in the market. Okay, so like your BBCA, BBRI, ICBP, TLKM. You should Unilever. You should prioritize the biggest stocks because they're going to be the first ones to recover.
Okay.
Okay, why? Because they have the best quality businesses. They have the strongest balance sheets. They have the most cash. Okay, maybe if their competitors go bankrupt, they can buy all of them, right? Take market share. right?
Yeah. Jason, there's a question. What happened with global stock market if government shifting currency from fiat money into cryptocurrency?
I think that there's, as of today, I think there's no way governments are shifting to cryptocurrency. Okay, why? One, they're gonna lose control of the currency, right?
Yes.
I think they don't want that, right? Okay, you think China wants to give up control of the currency? No way, right? Okay, so I think that yes, the fiat paper money is also not perfect because they're just printing so much of it. Okay, actually, that's why you're seeing gold go up. But cryptocurrency is not perfect as well. There's no perfect currency right now. Okay, there's still no alternative to our current financial system. Okay, so I think that for now, the paper money is here to stay.
Jason, another question from Ibu Weni. How about USD, Sing dollar, Singapore dollar, and other foreign exchange rate towards rupiah? Indonesia rupiah will be stronger?
I think the rupiah hasn't moved that much versus SGD because SGD is also weak.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think that if you really want to diversify, you want to be buying US dollars. Okay, if you want to diversify currency exposure, you want to be buying US dollars.
Okay. Is there any more question? Ada pertanyaan lagi?
Okay. So Unilever, yeah. So I think this is one example of a great business that only a bear market will make it cheap. Okay, so take advantage of the weakness in Unilever. So I think this can be a long-term investment. Okay, they have a great business, really strong cash flow. I don't think they're going to suffer much in this environment, even with the coronavirus. So from Victor, IMF said that we're entering a great economic depression like 1939. I think it's very possible. Okay, but fortunately, we're in Indonesia and the Philippines. I don't think we're gonna get a depression here. Why? Because population is so young. Population is growing. Okay, we have very low debt levels in our economy. Okay, so yeah, maybe Europe is going to depression or America is going to depression, but I don't think emerging markets going to depression. Okay, our problems are much smaller than their problems, right? There's people there are getting old, right? So much debt in their system. Okay, and I think another thing is that in 1939, money printing was not widely used yet. That's why the depression in US and Europe was very deep. Okay, I think that today they're printing so much money in the system and it's gonna help maybe avoid a very deep depression. Okay. Rico, if I'm holding RALs at 1,000, do you think it's a wise decision to sell it to buy BBCA? Of course, there's multiple ways to do this. Some people are not comfortable in cutting losses. Okay, then you can just hold it if you want, but don't add any more. Okay, but if it's okay with you to take a loss, right, on some of your holdings, I think that you can there's a lot of stocks that you can switch that to. Okay. Like yeah, as you said, like BBCA, right? It never goes down in a bull market, right? It's only today in a bear market where you see these great companies go down. Okay. So for me, if I would be investing, I'm gonna switch it. Okay. It's because personally I'm okay with taking losses. I think it's really just part of the game, right? Okay. I'm okay with taking a loss if there's a very good stock to put the money in. Okay, because at least I can make back the losses eventually. Okay, but of course, it really depends on you. Some people just, if you don't want to take the loss, you can just hold it, but don't add anymore.
Okay.
Johanna. So, yes. So I sent the instruction right last Friday to stop all the buying first, because I'm gonna change our strategy and adjust all the prices. So yeah, wait. I think Thursday night we're gonna have a webinar.
Okay.
Panji, hi. Is it the correct time to buy? So as I said, I think in the big picture, it's the time to be buying. Okay, because you don't, as an investor, of course, you don't want to be buying when everything's going up, right? When everyone's selling, that's the time to be buying, right? In the small picture, if you really want to be more exact, when things are going down, like for example in March, you want to be buying on weakness. Okay, if you want to be more exact, like for example in March, market went down 20-30%. That's when you buy. Okay, that's when you get aggressive. Okay, but if you ask me as an investor, don't think too much about the timing. As long as it's cheap, you can buy it, right? Government bond, what affect the yield? It has a huge impact. Okay, so the Indonesian government bond is like 8% right now. So that's the borrowing costs of the government. Okay, so it means that if the government wants to borrow money, it has to pay 8%. Okay, so what that means, for example, if I'm a company, okay, I have to be paying 8 plus something. So maybe if I'm a small company, I have to be buying at higher than 8%, right? So the government is their benchmark borrowing costs. It affects everything in the whole economy. So it's very, very important for stocks and the economy. UNTR. Okay, I'm gonna be answering this on Thursday. Okay, I'm still preparing. Okay, please be there on our Thursday webinar. Okay, I'm gonna be advising you guys which stocks I think you can switch to the GBC or ICBP. Okay. So from Anonymous here, so this condition will make a lot of new wave of poor household. Okay, so I guess what you mean here is that a lot of households are going to be suffering. Yes, that's pretty sure. So I think that consumption is going to go down. Okay, what effect on the stock market? We already saw it, right? The market, what went down? It's down 26% this year, right? And a lot of stocks are down 30, 40, 50%. So that's already the impact of it. Uh, J7 Prime. For investing, should we sell all stocks we have invested to keep cash, or is it just okay to hold? So you have 70% of your cash in stocks, right? So that's fine. As I said, I think this is now is the time to be buying. Okay, so as an investor, of course, you the best thing, uh, you have to have regular cash flow, right, as an investor, so that you can take advantage of these times. So yeah, actually, what I asked, you have to put money regularly. Okay, so budget your expenses. Just set aside what you can put in the stock market. Okay, because this is the exact time you need that cash flow to be buying. Okay, so like me personally, uh, I have decided long ago to be a trader, right? Because I can't stomach my portfolio going down a lot. Okay, because I think that my entire job is related to stock market already, so it's too much for me on a personally. Okay, but like for example, if you have a business on the side, or you have a job, it's not related to stock market, and then you have regular cash flow. That's a great combination, right? If US keeps money printing aggressively, what will be the impact to stock market? Uh, Stock market is going to go up. Okay, I think this fueled the bull market in Indonesia actually. Okay, like 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, Indonesia actually was one of the strongest stock markets in the world. Okay, because I think it benefited a lot from the money printing in the US. Okay, but as I said, this time around, uh, I have doubts whether this money printing is going to work. Why? Because the real economy has a problem. Okay, and it's not getting solved with money printing. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it actually. From many, do you think it's wise if we sell our USD to buy blue chips? Yes. Because as I said, all these blue chips like ICBP, BBCA, it's only in this environment where you can get them cheap. Okay, so if you want to put that money in back Indonesia for the long term, it's now is the time. Uh, Maybe we can answer this last question for tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so for Anonymous, I have a second line stock. Yeah, as I said, I'm gonna answer this on Thursday. But yes, uh, I think that now is a good time to be switching those positions. Okay, because at least you have a good alternative to put the money into. Okay, so it depends really on you. I can't answer that for you, right? But if you're willing to take the loss, at least you can have another stock where you can put it into. Okay, where I think you're gonna make some money going forward. Okay, but I think that even if it's a second liner stock, as long as the company's not going out of business, I think that eventually they're all gonna recover. It's just a matter of who recovers first, right? And as I said, I think the priority should be I think the blue chips are gonna recover first. So you want to be prioritizing buying them.
Okay. Okay, Jason, I think that's enough. Thank you so much and get well soon. I heard you are coughing several times. You don't have a good help, I think. Have a good rest and have a good...
It's a dry cough. It won't go away.
For how long already?
3 weeks already.
Oh yeah, no wonder. Yeah, because last time also heard you still coughing. Oke. Baik teman-teman, terima kasih buat partisipasi aktifnya. Sekilas Jason sudah memberikan gambaran apa yang akan terjadi dalam waktu 1-2 bulan ke depan. Nanti hari Kamis kita akan ada webinar lagi bersama dengan Jason, karena saat ini Jason sedang mengupdate ya dan menghitung ulang fair value-nya, BBP, TP-nya. Makanya selama beberapa hari terakhir ini kita nganjurin Anda untuk berhenti membeli sementara karena Jason sedang mengumpulkan data dan menghitung ulang BBP dan TP ya. Nah, buat teman-teman yang mau investing, tunggu hari Kamis, nanti kita akan ada webinar lagi bersama dengan Jason. Oke, terima kasih semuanya. Stay safe, jaga kesehatan, dan ingat social distance. Oke, thank you all.
Everyone.
Thank you, Jason. Good night and have a good rest.
Good night. Good night.